Hi everyone, Prep and Mama here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about all things preparedness from the perspective of a mom with multiple children and a special needs child and all kinds of weird stuff going on over here. I just try to prep every day. I try to keep it real, and I like to take you along with me and show you what I do. I am not a professional by any means. This is just a mom who's doing the things that she needs to do to take care of her family. This is a third in a series that I've been doing, and I haven't done anything fancy with any of it. I'm uploading straight from my phone in one take because I just haven't had a lot of time to film lately, and when I do, I just want to get it done. So this is scenario 3. I'm going to go over with you today, and if you haven't watched the previous 2 videos, you might want to review them. Locally, some of our staff from our search and rescue have put on a course called Prep U. That's PREP-U. And it was a 7-week course, and we are now finished with it. And each week we went through a scenario. And the scenario is designed to see if you're prepared for certain things that could happen. And there's all kinds of different ones. So there was scenario 1 and scenario 2. And today I'm doing scenario 3, which is a very real scenario that could happen anywhere, okay? So scenario 3 is fire and evacuation, okay? So I will eventually put these all in a playlist when I'm a little more organized and have time to fiddle with YouTube. But for now, I'm just basically sharing this stuff with you and telling you where I'm at on it and asking you where you're at on it and seeing if you have anything that you want to talk about, okay? So fire and evacuation. Here's our scenario 3. It is a beautiful Saturday evening in early September. The daytime high is 88 degrees with a strong breeze. You are cooking dinner at 7 p.m. when the power goes out. A sheriff comes to the door and says you need to evacuate immediately. You have only 5 minutes to leave your home, and you are not allowed to return until further notice. You learn that a tree has fallen on a power line and sparked a grass fire that is spreading rapidly. Okay, so think about that. You're cooking dinner, so you're in the middle of things, and a sheriff comes to your home, okay? So, things to consider. The first thing to consider is, where are your family members? Do they know what to do if they're home alone when an evacuation starts? Do they know what to grab and where you keep it? Okay, and I have to say no, they don't. They don't, and I don't have any other drivers but my husband and I, so they would not be able to go anywhere without us. So I need to be more organized about what to evacuate, and that's not happened yet. And I don't have my documents in order either. I mean, I have fire safe, but that's a little heavy to grab, right? I need to get that kind of stuff scanned and onto a thumb drive. And I need to have a basket of things that they can just grab and go with. Storage is an issue though. I'm sure it is for everyone. Okay, 2, what kind of stove do you have? If you're cooking and the power goes out, what do you need to do before leaving the house so that you don't cause an additional fire? We have gas, so we would probably need to shut off the stove, obviously, but also possibly shut off the gas as well to the home. If we were to evacuate, that is what we would do. 3, who could you expect to come to the door to evacuate people? It has to be someone who is clearly marked as emergency personnel. So it needs to be a sheriff, it needs to be a police officer, it needs to be a rural metro fire, it needs to be search and rescue, it needs to be someone who is clearly identified, because a way that a lot of looters try to get your things is when things are happening already, they try to come to your door and tell you to evacuate. And hi baby. And it's not time for you to evacuate. They're just trying to get your stuff. So you need to know who to look for and who might be trying to scam you and who wants to be a star on YouTube, right?
Hello.
Okay. 4, where will you go? That really depends on where the fire is. We have a couple options, but I would have to know where the fire is to answer that. 5, do you have an out-of-area contact? Okay, this is important. You should always have an out-of-area contact. You need to leave now, please. Thank you. I'm trying to do this in one take, and you're being distracting. Because a lot of times if you're trying to make calls locally, they won't go through, but if you're making calls out of the area, they will. And the other thing is, texting sometimes works when calling doesn't. So if you have an out of area contact and your children aren't with you, if you make sure that in their phone or on their person, they have that number of that person that they can contact and say, hey, I'm safe and this is where I am. And then everyone can contact that person and tell them the same thing, and then you communicate through that person, okay? So we do. My sister is our contact person in Montana, and my parents live here, so she would also be their contact person and everyone's contact person. Okay, 6, if power takes additional time to restore after returning home is an option, do you have what you need to function safely? Yes, we do, and I hope you do too. You need to have water, an ability to get water,
and sugar,
and you need to have a way to cook your food. So if you have those things, great. Right now we don't currently have enough water here if the power has not been restored because we're on well. So we're working on that. You need to stop talking right now, please. Okay, 7, how will you be informed that it is safe to go home? That's a good question. Normally I follow search and rescue and fire pages on Facebook when things like this are going on, and usually I'll know. I guess you could call probably, and but I would usually follow social media, and if that's not available, I would probably get in touch with another local organization to find out. And then 8, what can be cleaned up on your property so that it isn't your tree that has fallen and caused a fire? We've already taken care of all those things on our properties. There's a couple of very large trees near power lines, and at this point in time, they are secure. Right now, what they're doing in our area is they're burying power lines in the ground, which is wise. And so in the area where we have large trees, that's actually what they're doing. So I'm unconcerned about that at this time. As far as the rest of our property, I think we're good to go on there. We've recently removed a lot of dead trees and different things in order to keep everything up and maintained and keep that from happening. You need to go somewhere else or be quiet, please. Okay, so for that scenario, I think we're pretty good, except for I don't have my grab and go stuff, so I really need to do that. And I have the same considerations. We have people on medications, we have special needs people, and we have animals. So those are things that need to be thought about, and then I need to write down what I need to deal with and my due date for when I want that done. So that is scenario 3, and I hope that gets your juices flowing and gets you thinking about how prepared you are and what you need to do to get prepared for a fire and evacuation. Okay, next time I'll talk about scenario 4, which is grid down, and that should be fun. Anyway, thanks for joining me this evening. This is Preppin' Mama, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell so you don't miss any more of any of my videos. And if I don't get back on here before then, please have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will be seeing you here. Preppin' Mama out.